Yeah, thank you, Dana. Over here on the board, I'm going to show you what's happening in these governor's races. Not a lot to talk about just yet based on the colors because the maps haven't filled in. But for New Jersey at 8 o'clock East Coast time tomorrow night, you're going to see this map fill in. Here's what happened 4 years ago. Chitterelli ran his second time as governor. He ran a third time, but that was in the primary when he was defeated. So it's only the second time his name has been on the statewide ballot here. Where do Republicans need to do well in order for Chitterelli to go ahead and perform well? Still learning this, Dana. Can you tell? My gosh. Hope I get it figured out by tomorrow night, okay? There will be drama. You got to run up numbers here in the South, okay? In the southeast of the state. And also you got to run up numbers up here in the northwestern corner of the state as well in New Jersey. Not as many voters up here or in the South, but that's where Chitterelli has to overperform in order to overcome his 3-point loss from 4 years ago. Let me pop out here to Virginia, show a similar story. Go back 4 years, all right? This is where Youngkin really started to show that Republicans can push back against Joe Biden, the policies in the White House. A 2-point winner taking a purple state in Virginia 2 years ago. I will show you this while I can. Here is the mayor's race. It's all historical stuff now in New York, okay? This is Eric Adams in a two-way race. Just 4 years ago, Eric Adams against Curtis Sliwa. Sliwa's back on the ballot yet again, but a three-way race now. This is the domination that the Democratic Party has in New York, plain and simple. More than 2/3 of the vote went for Eric Adams, all right? This year, a bit of a different story because you got three men on the ballot, right? Mamdani running as a Democrat under the Democratic Socialist Party. Sliwa's back on the ballot as a Republican. Andrew Cuomo defeated in the primary back in June here in New York, running as an independent on the ticket here. And last night on 60 Minutes, the president was asked about Mamdani. What if he wins? How do things change? Here's how it went.
Some people have compared him to a left-wing version of you, charismatic, breaking the old rules. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I'm a much better looking person than him, right?
But what if Mamdani becomes mayor?
It's going to be hard for me as the president to give a lot of money to New York. Because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money you're sending there. So I don't know that he's won, and I'm not a fan of Cuomo one way or the other, but if it's going to be between a bad Democrat and a communist, I'm going to pick the bad Democrat all the time, to be honest with you.
And lots of little news from that interview on that one. You have to imagine that there are many people in New York who feel the same way. Mm-hmm. Like they wish they had a different choice.
Yeah, turnout in New York at the mayor's level has been fascinating. You go back 30 years, you had 57% of registered voters voted. You know how many we had 4 years ago?
Not many.
Barely 23%. But in early voting here in New York, turnout's been pretty good. Not quite 1 million voters. And when we talked to Governor Cuomo last week, his team thinks you'll get between 1.9 and 2.1 million votes. Okay, if you get that, you're still not even at 50%. Wow. We'll see whether or not that turns out, given all the headlines, the attention that this race has received.
Yeah, you can feel it all ramp up this weekend. Well, there is bad news for Democrats as the elections approach. New research shows Democratic voters are getting increasingly frustrated with the party's direction. Guy Benson joins us now. Part of that is not necessarily because they want to moderate. It's because a lot of Dems are mad because they want more fighting. And maybe they see something in Mamdani that they would replicate across the country.
That's exactly right, Dana. The beating heart of the Democratic base right now is socialism and extremism on issues like Israel and Gaza and Hamas apologies. I mean, it really has taken another lurch, the Democratic Party has, to the left within that core element of the base. So you probably have some people, if you dive into these polling numbers, some Democrats and certainly independents wishing the Democrats might moderate a little bit and get more competitive on certain issues, while their base is screaming exactly the opposite, which is why I think we're seeing the government shutdown that we are right now. The Democrats have orchestrated this with no end game and incoherent messaging. They've done this because they are aware that their base is so angry at them, not really sure how to show them that they're fighting. So a month-plus long government shutdown, at least for now, seems to be their temporary solution.
Let's talk about Wednesday. I don't know where we're going to be, Guy, but boy, there are going to be some pieces that we're going to read next weekend that are just going to be stunning about the direction of American politics. Here is Hakeem Jeffries on CNN as to whether or not Mamdani is the future of the party. Now, Jeffries endorsed Mamdani. All right? And this was his answer.
Weekly.
Barely.
Do you see Mamdani as the future of the Democratic Party?
No, I think the future of the Democratic Party is going to fall, as far as we're concerned, relative to the House Democratic Caucus and members who are doing a great work all across the country.
Well, okay, so how's this going to go? You got 5 boroughs in New York. 3 of them back Mamdani. 2 of them do not, Guy.
Yeah, I think that there's a very good likelihood that Mamdani is going to win this election and will have this huge amount of momentum and attention, this sort of explosion of coverage of Mamdani. Is he the future? Of course, it's a very blue city. What plays in the Bronx, what plays on the Upper West Side in particular, is not going to play almost anywhere else in the country outside of very blue areas, which is why I'm a little bit more interested in New Jersey and Virginia, and to see what happens tomorrow night in those 2 states. Both blue states. President Trump lost both of them last time out by around 6 points. To me, that's the benchmark, right? Will Democrats overperform? I think historically they should overperform that number in this off-year election. But what if they don't? Or what if it's a mixed bag? I think there'll be a lot of tea leaf reading out of last night looking ahead to 2020.
And it's also interesting because in New York, this will be the first electorate where it's post-COVID, it's post the exodus to the red states that we know Florida and Texas have benefited from, and it's kind of our first test to see what this is going to look like. Guy Benson, thanks for kicking us off today.
Guy.
And please do not miss our election.